This video is about a comparison of the top 4 highest-rated NVIDIA drivers and how they perform in Fortnite. And if you think NVIDIA driver updates don't really matter for gaming performance, this video is going to change your mind. A simple driver change can completely alter your FPS, your frame stability, and most importantly, how smooth the game actually feels. In this video, I'm doing a full NVIDIA driver comparison in Fortnite, using real benchmark data from CapFrameX to see which driver actually delivers the best performance and consistency. No assumptions, no placebo, just real numbers and real gameplay results. Make sure you watch until the end, because the best driver here might not be the newest one. Before we jump into the results, let me clearly explain the testing setup so everything stays transparent. Every single benchmark was done on the same system, with the same hardware, the same background processes, and the same Fortnite settings. The only thing that changed between each test was the NVIDIA driver version. Fortnite was tested using the same graphics settings across all drivers, following the same test path and same recording duration. To ensure maximum accuracy, I performed a clean driver installation every single time using Display Driver Uninstaller, also known as DDU. This removes any leftover driver files or cached data that could affect performance, so the results you're seeing come purely from the driver itself. Starting with NVIDIA driver 591.59, which is currently the latest release. Looking at the CapFrameX data, we can see that average FPS is decent but not class-leading. The average FPS sits around the mid-range compared to the other drivers, while the 1% low and 0.1% low values show some inconsistency. The frame time graph shows noticeable spikes throughout the run. While these spikes aren't constant, they indicate moments where frame delivery isn't perfectly smooth. CapFrameX also reports small amounts of stuttering time, which might not always be obvious in casual gameplay, but competitive players will definitely feel it during fast camera movement or intense fights. Overall, 591.59 is playable, but it doesn't deliver the smoothest Fortnite experience in this comparison. Next up is NVIDIA driver 591.44, and this one already shows some improvements over the latest release. Average FPS is slightly higher than 591.59, but the real difference appears in the frame time consistency. The frame time graph looks cleaner, with fewer severe spikes, and the 1% low FPS is more stable. Stuttering time is lower compared to 591.59, which translates into smoother gameplay, especially during build fights and rapid camera movement. However, while 591.44 improves stability, it still doesn't fully eliminate frame drops, and it doesn't reach the top performance levels seen with some older drivers in this test. Now let's talk about NVIDIA driver 566.36, which is where things get interesting. Based on the CapFrameX screenshots, this driver delivers a significant jump in performance compared to both 591.59 and 591.44. Average FPS is noticeably higher, but more importantly, the 1% lows and 0.1% lows are much stronger. This means fewer sudden FPS drops and a far more consistent frame delivery. The frame time graph is clearly tighter, with smaller fluctuations and fewer spikes. Stuttering time is effectively 0, and the overall smoothness percentage reported by CapFrameX is extremely high. In actual gameplay, this translates to smoother aiming, more consistent input response, and better overall game feel. For Fortnite, this driver shows a very strong balance between raw FPS and frame stability. Finally, we have NVIDIA driver 531.79, an older driver that still performs surprisingly well. According to the benchmark data, 531.79 delivers very competitive average FPS, sometimes even matching or exceeding newer drivers. The frame time graph is quite stable, and both 1% low and 0.1% low values are strong. There is almost no recorded stuttering, which makes this driver feel extremely smooth in gameplay. While it may lack optimizations for newer titles, Fortnite clearly runs very efficiently on this driver. That said, being an older release, it may not be ideal for newer games or recent engine updates, but purely for Fortnite performance, it still holds up remarkably well.
When we put all 4 drivers side by side, a clear pattern emerges. 591.59, despite being the latest, ranks lowest in terms of smoothness and consistency. 591.44 improves stability, but still falls behind the best performers. 566.36 stands out as the most balanced driver, delivering high average FPS, strong low FPS values, and extremely stable frame times. 531.79 also performs very well, especially in terms of smoothness, but its age may limit compatibility for some users. If your goal is competitive Fortnite gameplay with minimal stutters and consistent FPS, the data clearly favors 566.36 and 531.79 over the newer releases. So, which NVIDIA driver should you actually use for Fortnite? Based purely on the CapFrameX benchmark data and real gameplay smoothness, NVIDIA driver 566.36 delivers the best overall experience. It offers the strongest balance of FPS, low frame stability, and frame time consistency, making it ideal for competitive play. If you prefer an older, extremely stable driver and don't mind missing newer optimizations, 531.79 is still a solid option. On the other hand, if you're currently on 591.59, you may actually be losing performance rather than gaining it. This proves once again that newer doesn't always mean better, and choosing the right NVIDIA driver can have a massive impact on your gaming experience. If this video helped you, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know which driver you're using right now and how it performs on your system.